Hi there, welcome to Two Birds. I'm Fiona and welcome back if you've practiced with me before. Today's class is a 60-minute complete Vinyasa flow class to build strength as well as flexibility. It's an all-round accessible practice which includes sun salutes, standing and balancing poses, core work, there's some baby backbends in there, and inversions. And all you may wish to have for practice is a block or a large book and a blanket, particularly if you have sensitive knees. Otherwise, I hope you enjoy. Thank you for joining. Namaste. And begin your practice in your version of child's pose, folding your knees, sending your hips toward your heels, and resting your forehead to the floor. Arms extending forward, and just add a soft bend to your elbows so you can let your forearms rest. Take a few moments to arrive on your mat, a few deep breaths. We're going to move and breathe together. And although we're not practicing in person together or seeing each other, hearing each other, please feel free to make any sounds or tones, those types of qualities to your breath, so you can really exaggerate your experience here as you practice. So it might be that you have an audible sigh or a hum to let go of. Anything that allows you to simply drop into your body and let go. Take 2 more cycles of breath. And on your next breath in, glide up onto all fours, and we'll cycle through 4 rounds of cat, cow and child's pose, beginning to arch and round your spine and just drifting your hips to your heels. You can set your own pace here. Feel the full vibration of your breath in your movements and linger in any direction if it feels good. Doesn't need to be too structured. You're just warming up and connecting to your breath and your body. And we'll all meet up in a child's pose. And let's flow together now. As you breathe in, rise up onto all fours. On your exhale, tuck your right toes, extend your right leg straight. Inhale, right knee to the floor. Breathing out, shift your hips back to your heels into your child's pose. Left side now, inhaling to tabletop. Exhale, straighten your left leg. Inhale, left knee down. Exhale, balasana. Inhale, all fours. Exhale, raise both knees now to your plank pose. Breathe in. Exhale, tap your knees to the floor. Twice more. Inhale, plank pose, 2 straight legs. Exhale, knees touch down. Breathe in, lift. Exhale, knees to the floor. Stay here, inhale. Exhale, flatten your feet and rest back in your child's pose. We'll keep it rolling, breathing in all fours. Stay for your exhale. On your inhale, raise your right leg behind you to the height of your hips, toes flexed. And on your exhale, bring your right knee in toward your chest for a core lunge. Inhale, extend. Exhale, core lunge, doming your spine. 1 more here, inhale. Exhale, draw in. Now hold your right leg extended and reach your left arm forward to balance and take 3 smooth cycles of breath. Knitting your lower ribs toward your hips and extending from your heel to your left fingertips. Deep breath in. Exhale, take your left palm to the floor, right knee in toward your chest, so you dome your spine, hover here, and then thread your right leg in front of your left knee. Sit your buttocks back any amount, drop your right forearm to the floor, and then just reach and extend your left arm off to your right and explore a side body stretch down the left side waist, and perhaps in your hip there as you creep your left fingertips away. And walking yourself back to center, coming back into your tabletop and switching sides, left side now. Inhale, reach your left leg straight back, toes flexed. On your exhale, core lunge, round your spine. We have 2 more, move with your breath. Curling in. And then hold your left leg extended, balancing here, taking your right arm forward, firming your hip points toward one another, stabilizing your center. And as you feel yourself breathe out, right hand to the floor, left knee to your chest, and cross your left leg in front of your right, leaning your buttocks back in space, left forearm to the floor, and right arm reaches to your left now. Just pause and breathe fully into the right side lung. And releasing now, unravel. Coming back onto all fours, tuck your toes, make your way into your first downward facing dog. Biking out your heels, finding your comfortable stride and steady breath. And taking 3 more full cycles of breath. And with a light bend in your knees, walk your hands back to your feet at the back edge of your mat and hang loosely in a forward fold. Invite your knees to soften, your head to hang heavy. And on your inhale, lift up halfway, take your hands to your shins, extend your heart forward, flat back. And on an out breath, just a forward fold here. Rise to stand, sweeping your arms overhead. And exhale, swim your hands behind your back, interweave all your fingers. Breathe in, lift your chest, open your heart. On your exhale, bend the knees and forward fold, letting your fists gently float toward the ceiling. Just staying for a few rounds of breath, staying easeful in your shape, and giving your cervical spine a chance to traction by lifting the front of your shoulder heads up away from the floor. Let the crown of your head hang down toward the floor. And then just releasing your hands to the floor and just feel the warmth travel down your arms, and we'll transition into Malasana Yogi Squat. Widen your feet away from one another and turn the big toes out, lowering your seat to your calves, or simply sit your buttocks back in your comfortable range of motion. Just take care of your knees here. Find an elegant length to the front and back of your spine, and a gentle opening through the inner thighs. We'll take 2 more cycles of breath. And breathing in, lifting up, parallel your feet, and go ahead, walk yourself out to your plank pose, shoulders over the wrists. As you feel yourself breathe out, lower your chest to your hands, coming onto your belly to set up for Sphinx pose. Slide your forearms forward and parallel. Elbows a little forward of your shoulders and engaging your leg muscles so you can just feel your knees float. Breathe your chest forward through your arms. And on your exhale, lower down, hands by your ribs, and return to your downward facing dog. On your in-breath, gaze forward, light bend in the knees, go ahead, travel to the top edge of your mat, bringing your big toe mounds to touch. When you arrive, take a halfway lift. Exhale and forward fold. Rising with your in-breath, arms overhead, looking up. And rest your hands to your heart center, coming into Tadasana. So a few rounds of sun salutations now, beginning with a slow flow, and then we'll pick up the pace and move with its rhythm. One movement, one breath. On your breath in, circle your arms overhead. Exhale and forward fold. Breathing in Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, lunge your right foot back to low lunge, and we'll keep it low, fingertips framing your left foot. Pause for a few rounds of breath. Feel the front of your right hip and support your hip flexors with a light squeeze to your right buttocks. Softening your left groins down with the weight of your torso as you lengthen your heart forward. Take a deep breath in here. Exhale into the half splits, Ardha Hanuman. Walking your fingertips step back and working towards straightening your left leg. Just pause for a few breaths. Actively scissoring your front heel and right knee toward one another. And find symmetry across your hips, sending your left thigh back and your right hip forward. On your in-breath, return to your low lunge, reaching your arms now sideways nice and long, low back tall, with the reach of your arms. And on your out-breath, hands to the floor, stepping up with me to the top edge of the mat. Stay low here. We'll take a halfway lift, breathing in. Exhale now, left side, left foot steps back. Left side low lunge. Just pause, get steady. Feel into the front of your left hip now. Activate your leg muscles isometrically, so your right heel scissoring toward your left knee. Collarbones nice and broad. And transitioning into your half splits, your version, peeling your right toes back to face toward your face. And keeping the back of your torso flat and extending, making a shadow over your right thigh. Leveling your hips. And return to your low lunge now. Extend up with your arms. Pause for a few breaths. You can load your front hip just a little there. Balancing your effort levels. Savoring your breath. And as you feel yourself breathe out, hands to the floor, we'll take a half flow, stepping back, downward facing dog. And on your in-breath, ripple forward to your high push-up. Then just soften your knees toward the floor, flow back into your downward facing dog. Either pause here for a gentler practice or flow with me, take a full vinyasa, shifting forward to your plank, chaturanga, a back bend of your choice. And we'll all meet up in downward facing dog. Keeping your breath full and deep around your ribs. Breathing in, looking forward, light soft bend in your knees now. End of your exhale, step to the top edge of your mat. Inhale, coming up halfway. Exhale and fold in. Breathing in, rise to stand. And exhale, hands to your heart center. Another round just like that, one movement, one breath. Inhale, Urdhva Hastasana, arms overhead. Exhale, dive forward, Uttanasana. Ardha Uttanasana on your in-breath. Exhale, lunge your right foot back now, low lunge. Fingertips stay down, breathe in, collarbones wide. Exhale, Ardha Hanuman, half monkey pose. Return to your low lunge, reaching your arms, breathing in. Exhale, hands to the floor and step quietly up. Breathe in, flat back, straight legs. Exhale, left foot back, low lunge, stay low. Breathe in. Exhale, half splits, flexing your left quads. Inhale, back to low lunge, reaching tall. Exhale. For your half flow, stepping back quietly, downward facing dog. Surge forward to your plank pose, and then soften your knees, hips up and back, downward facing dog. Pause here if you'd like to do less, catch your breath, or take a full vinyasa, keeping your breath fluid, nurturing your movement, and we'll all meet up in downward facing dog. Three full cycles of breath here, and then we'll continue to flow and we'll add on. Next breath in, looking forward. End of your exhale, a light hop or step to the top edge of your mat. Inhale, coming up halfway. Exhale and fold. Rise to stand, breathing in, tall breath. Exhale, Tadasana. Breathing in, arms overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, right foot steps back now, runner's lunge. Keep your right thigh hovering, breathe in, chest forward. Exhale, lift your hips and work towards straightening your left leg for pyramid variation. Just moving with your breath. As you feel yourself breathe out, right knee touches down, find your low lunge, arms rise. And then hands to the floor, stepping up, staying low, take a halfway lift. Exhale, left foot lunges back, runner's lunge, breathing in. Exhale, pyramid pose. Inhale here. Exhale, low lunge, left knee to the floor, arms rise on your in-breath. And then hands to the floor and stepping back, downward facing dog. Half flow now, shifting forward to your strong plank. Then soften, ripple back, downward facing dog. If you'd like to keep moving, a full flow now, moving with your breath, or simply pause in your downward facing dog and rest. And we'll keep it rolling, looking forward. End of your exhale, making your way to the top edge of your mat. Halfway lift, breathing in. Fold. Rise to stand. Tadasana, hands to your heart. Circle your arms overhead, breathing in. Exhale and forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, right foot runner's lunge. Breathe in. Exhale, pyramid variation, lifting your hips. This time, re-lunge your left knee, transition into a warrior two now. Take your time. Rise slow. Let's pause. Take 5 to 8 cycles of breath. On your inhale, 5-point star, 2 straight legs, arms overhead, and then triangle on your right, facing the back of your mat. Aligning your right toes forward, power up your left leg, and then reach forward over the midline of your right leg. Find your comfortable edge. Rest your right hand down, reach your left hand high, settle in. Invite a gentle softening of the left side rib cage down. So letting the right side waist extend a little bit more. Steady breath. 2 more cycles of breath. As you breathe in, reverse your triangle. 1 breath here, reach up and back. Exhale, warrior 2, stay facing the back of your mat. Here to pause, dropping anchors into your feet, feeling the fullness of your breath. On your in-breath, straighten your right leg, taking your hands to your hips, and turn to your left. Face the long edge of your mat, spread leg forward fold. Deep breath in and exhale, forward fold. Here for a few deep breaths, so you can just drop your weight forward, heels toward your toes. Rest your hands to the floor. And unhinging your jaw, softening your cheeks. On your inhale, lift up just halfway, pause here. Keep your right hand down now underneath your right shoulder and we'll twist. Rotating your heart to the left arm to the ceiling. Draw a straight line, hand to your right hand. Breathe in deeply. Exhale and switch. So we revolve to our right now. Right hand to the sky. Opening up, so you're trying to stay nice and long and extended through your spine as you twist. Fingertips to the floor now, walking around to the top of your mat. Frame your left foot and stepping quietly back to your downward facing dog. Your choice now, half flow, full flow, or take rest. And taking 3 full cycles of breath. Inhale, eyes forward. End of your exhale, step to your hands. Opening on your inhale. Exhale and forward fold. Rise on your in-breath. Hands to your heart on your out-breath. Final side now, prioritizing your breath. Inhale, sweep your arms overhead. Exhale and fold. Inhale here. Exhale, step your left foot back to runner's lunge. Inhale, heart forward. Exhale, lift the hips, pyramid variation. Breathe in. Exhale, rebend your right knee, preparing for warrior 2. Anchor your left outer heel, rise tall. Proud across your chest as you reach your arms. Stretch from palm to palm. Settle in. You might like to explore a deeper lunge in your right thigh if you feel like you've got a little bit more range there. Equalize your effort, firming your left thigh. Breathing smooth and steady. Next breath in, 5-point star, 2 straight legs. And on your exhale, triangle pose, Trikonasana on your left, facing the back of your mat. And taking the next few breaths to arrive. Encouraging the sides of your torso to lengthen from your hips to your armpits. So you're spiraling your right shoulder open, facing your belly button toward the right side of your room. Two strong legs. Push down through your front foot. On your inhale, reverse your triangle, reaching up and away from your left foot. And exhaling for warrior 2. Stay for 5 deep breaths. Wind your hands behind your back now, interlace your fingers, straighten your left leg and face the long edge of your mat. Take a deep breath in, strong engaged legs. Exhale and fold. And just be cautious here not to overextend or be pushy with your body. Fists just easefully away from your back, finding an open quality to the front of your spine. And let your head hover if that's where it lands. Doesn't need to rest on the floor. Bend your knees a little if it's more sustainable. Just moving yourself toward residing in a good space in your body. Release your hands now, fingertips to the floor, breathing in, flat back. Opening your throat, looking forward. Exhale, walk around to the front of your mat, step back through your Vinyasa or take rest, and we'll all meet up in downward facing dog. Equalizing the effort through your arms, your legs. And on your next breath in, roll forward to a plank pose, shoulders over the wrists, and we'll move through an upper body combo. Stay with me here. We're coming into right side Vashisthasana, side arm balance. Roll your heels to your right, so 2 feet on the floor, one in front of the other, left arm overhead. Take a deep breath in here. On your exhale, thread your left arm under your body toward your right leg. Inhale, send your left arm back up overhead. And on your exhale, drop your hips toward the floor, sweep your left arm toward the back of your mat. Twice more now, left arm overhead, breathing in. Exhale, thread your left arm under your body to the back corner of your mat. Inhale, left arm reaches overhead. Exhale, drop your hips, send your left arm toward your feet. Once more, with your breath, there's a rest coming up. Dropping your hips, and then returning to your plank pose. Settle your knees down. When you're ready, buttocks to the heels, child's pose, and just make contact with your breath. If you need to, just slow it down, longer exhales to clear out, reset. And final side now to balance out, gliding up onto all fours. Exhale, 2 straight legs for your plank pose. Left hand is your foundation now. Heels spin to your left, right arm overhead. Rainbow the left side waist a little higher away from the floor. Inhale. Exhale, thread your right arm under your body. Inhale, right arm overhead. Exhale, drop your hips, right hand toward your feet. Inhale, lifting up, arm overhead. Exhale and thread. Inhale, arm overhead. Exhale, drop the hips, circle your right arm toward your feet. Last round here, you've got this. Rest is close. Dropping the hips, and then wimble the hand to the floor, plank pose, and in your own time make your way into a child's pose, arms reaching forward, and press your palms. And this time just take your prayer hands to the nape of your neck. You can walk your elbows forward there. Take 3 deep breaths in and out. I'm going to send your arms forward now, preparing for your final downward facing dog. We're just here for a beat. Stretch your thighs, your shins back. Then take a little bend in your knee. Shore up your hands so you press them into the mat and take a little hop to the middle of your mat. Setting your feet up, hips width apart. And then with your legs straight or a little micro bend in them, wrap your arms behind your legs and thread your hands between your legs, catch opposite shins, folding forwards. Using the resistance of your hands against your shins to draw yourself a smidge closer to your legs. Lightly tipping forward, letting your spine release and traction. And then just releasing your hands now to heel your big toes together, big toe mounds. And start to bend your knees. We're going to come into a balance on the balls of our toes. Feel free to support yourself here, fingertips ahead of you on the floor, or challenge your balance, hands free. Bring your torso upright and into an L shape. Hands to prayer. And just stretching out the soles and toes of our feet. And take a deep breath in. As you exhale, we'll take a twist. Sending your heart to your left, wedging your right elbow to the outer left knee, and optional hands to floor here, or an elevated chair twist if your knees are screaming. Just finding a comfortable twist for your body. And we'll come back to center, and on your exhale, revolving to your right, and just take 3 deep breaths. And we're returning to center now. We'll make our way to kneel. Just resting your knees forward to the floor, untucking your toes, and sitting back on your heels. For the next sequence, you may wish to have a block handy, a block and a blanket, perhaps, as we move through Camel to Hero pose. So if you'd like to modify here, take your block lengthways on its flat side, and place the blanket over the top for a little bit more padding and elevation. Position it between your feet behind you. So knees are about hip width apart. And it's particularly helpful if your knees don't like deep flexion. So inhaling here, we'll raise the hips above the knees, keeping your pelvis neutral. Standing on your shins, let your hands graze the small of your back for support. Fingertips pointing up toward the ceiling. And as you breathe in, lift your ribs away from your hips, puffing your chest, spreading the skin of your low back with your hands, and just pause. Firm your shoulder blades in toward the midline of your spine, and just experiment in your own range with the next few breaths, curving your spine back with the support of your hands, pressing your hips forward, engaging the base of your buttocks. If you have the mobility here, feel free to release your hands to your heels, and there's an option to drop your gaze back into full camel, or just stay a little bit more upright with me with your hands for support. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, if your head's back, chin toward your chest, and inhale back to your upright posture, and then go ahead and kneel your buttocks to your heels. And we've got one more camel here. So lifting your hips up, hands to your low back. And as you come into camel and as you breathe in, think about keeping your hips traveling forward as you lift up and then curve back. Just 3 cycles of breath here. And exhale, releasing. This time as you release, we'll transition into Virasana, hero pose. Kissing your knees together now. Widen your feet behind you. And just take your thumbs to the crease behind your knees and spread your calves away from your thighs. Take a little bit more room to gently sit between your legs. Or sit your buttocks down on the block and blanket there, just balancing evenly on your sit bones. So this pose is very therapeutic stretch for your ankles, your thighs, your shins. But if you're supporting any injury or super stiffness here, please modify. Just find a comfortable seat or fold your legs to find comfort. You're going to settle in, and if it feels okay for you, just gently close your eyes and time the cadence of your breath, an even, equal breath in and out. And we're here for 5 more cycles of breath. And gently blink the eyes open to release, raise your buttocks, remove any props you might have there, and just cross at your ankles and shins, and sit your buttocks back, bring your legs forward, and set up for Dandasana, staff pose. Extending both legs straight out in front of you, flexing your toes and pressing the back of your legs into the support of the floor. Try and sit toward the front of your sit bones, and without hardening your belly, activate a light lift from your pelvis toward your navel. Firm your thighs and rotate them in slightly, drawing your inner groins toward your sacrum. Pressing the floor away with your hands to elongate your spine. 3 deep breaths. Transitioning into tabletop now, we're going to bend our knees, feet to the floor, hips width apart, hands behind you for support, and taking care here if you're nurturing any tenderness in your wrists by just making fists with your hands instead. And lifting up into your reverse tabletop, back body engaging thighs, buttocks and upper back. Pressing your inner feet and hands down against the floor. As you feel yourself breathe out, gently release, straightening your legs once more, and either returning to your staff pose or lifting up into east pose, reverse plank. So it's a nice way to counter stretch the triceps which we use in our planks and our chaturangas throughout the class. So this is a nice counter pose. So from here, 2 straight legs, hands behind you, raising the hips, stretching the tops of your feet, sending your toes toward the floor, pressing your shoulder blades against your back to support the lift in your chest. And there's an option to tip your gaze back, opening your throat. Take a big, deep breath in. And exhale, chin to chest, slowly lower down to your mat for a forward fold, Paschimottanasana, reaching your arms alongside your ears, breathing in. Exhale and forward fold. And just check in here. Notice how much space you have in the backs of your legs. This forward fold is quite diagnostic and a good preparatory pose for our plow pose, halasana, coming up. So if you are feeling quite tight, then I'd recommend taking a gentler option for your inversion, which I'll offer. Gently releasing from your forward fold, and we'll make our way onto our backs now, middle of the mat. For our final cool down flow, stay with me. 1 bridge pose here, so just bending your knees, feet to the floor, arms alongside your body. And as you breathe out, press your low back into the mat, and then on your inhale, raise your hips, aiming your kneecaps forward, so you just try and avoid your thighs rolling out. You can either catch your fingertips around the long edges of your mat or interlace your fingers underneath you. Just trying to encourage your upper back to narrow and experience that nice opening through the front of your chest. And take 2 more deep breaths. And exhale, release. So just grabbing your folded blanket now for support. Raise your hips and slip your blanket under your buttocks and your low back. Just get it into that comfortable spot and extend your legs toward the ceiling for a supported, gentle inversion. And this posture, sometimes we do it up against the wall, Viparita, Karani, but here with the support of the blanket, it's particularly beneficial for relieving tired legs and reversing the blood flow, resting your heart rate. So if you prefer a gentler practice and you noticed your forward fold before was quite tight, just stay here. You're getting all the benefits of an inversion. If you'd like to move through a shoulder stand flow and you've no issues with your neck or your shoulders, from this position with your blanket, just go ahead and send your legs overhead, aiming your toes for the floor. They don't need to touch the floor, but that's where you're aiming them. Stay here for about 5 breaths and just setting your foundation. So because your neck is in quite deep flexion here, it's important not to turn your head. So just instead direct your gaze toward your navel, and then just try and quieten and soften your gaze. So you have that nice relaxed energy around the corners of your eyes. And taking your hands to the small of your back now, fingertips pointing toward your shoulder blades. Walk your hands down toward the bottom of your shoulder blades. So narrowing your elbows and just making sure you keep a nice hollow space through the back of your neck. When you're ready, raising your legs toward the ceiling, coming into shoulder stand, pressing your upper arms and the tops of your shoulders into the floor so you create a rebounding energy up your body, legs engaged there. And invite your breath into the back of your lungs so you can maintain a nice steady, spacious breath. Sometimes it can feel quite congested. around the front of your chest here in this posture. Breathing calm. Now you can either stay here, listen closely though, without turning your head to look at the screen. There's a balance option here if you'd like to explore it. Bending your knees out wide to the side, bringing your big toes to touch. And then carefully taking one hand at a time to your knees to balance here. It's tricky. You might roll out. That's okay. We'll all release now with as much control as you can. Shoulder standers, guide your legs out overhead. Pausing for a few breaths in Halasana. Perhaps pointing your toes here to access a stretch through the tops of your feet. And then fold your knees gently in toward your chest, rolling out of the pose. We'll all meet up here, just slipping the blanket out to one side and preparing for fish pose, Matsyasana. Bending your knees, taking your feet to the floor, place your palms face down underneath your buttocks. And extend your legs straight, flexing or pointing your toes here. And then on your in-breath, lifting and arching your spine away from the floor, coming to rest on the crown of your head. And feeling a generous counter stretch through the front of your neck and your throat. Breathing wide into your ribs. And to release here, chin toward your chest. Resting down on your back, rebend your knees, lift the buttocks, slip the hands out. And hugging your knees in toward your chest, just pause and land, letting your energy settle. And taking your feet to the floor here, we'll set up for a twist. Take your arms out wide to the side, palms face up, releasing your spine, shifting your knees to your left, hips to the right, so your right hip aligns with your right shoulder. Send the gaze out to your right. Stay for a few breaths. Just switching sides now. Aligning your spine into a straight line, breathing the length of your spine and ribs as you evolve and settle in. And release. So we're just winding down now, reserving this time for any nourishing shape that might feel right for you before resting in seated meditation or Shavasana. You may wish to take a hip groin stretch or a quad stretch, perhaps a forward fold or happy baby. If you're not sure and you just like to follow me, we'll move into a reclined figure 4 hip stretch. Beginning with your right ankle to your left knee, comfortably externally rotating your right inner thigh. And if you can, just rest your head back. We'll take 3 deep breaths. And switching sides. Left ankle, top of your right knee. Good time to get it confused right at the end of the class. Flexing your left toes. And gently resisting your hands into your right thigh. And release. So time for rest now, prioritizing these last few minutes to complete your practice in Shavasana or seated meditation. And if you are coming into corpse pose, just laying back, letting your feet and arms splay out. And moving yourself toward a place of stillness and a relaxed breath. If it's comfortable for you, close your eyes. Really feel into your body now. Try and find that balance and symmetry across your shoulders, across your hips. And just send a smooth wave of breath into your body. And then just letting go, feeling your body sigh and relax into the support beneath you. And sending that smooth wave of breath through your fingertips up to your shoulders. And then just follow your breath, shoulders all the way down to the edge of your fingers. Send a smooth wave of breath through your toes all the way up to the top of your hips. And then just let yourself go, let your buttocks, your pelvis, your legs relax. Feeling the soothing wave of your breath, relaxed and spontaneous. Letting go of all your effort. And just giving yourself permission to rest. And if you find that your mind wanders, just usher it back, land back in your body. And just tune in to that flow of breath. Your body breathing you effortlessly. And gently, gently drifting your awareness back. Just remaining motionless. And just noticing how you feel at the end of your practice. And know that you have this opportunity to return to this relaxed feeling that you've created in your body anytime during the day via your breath. So letting your breath gently wake your body now, breathing in a deeper breath. And then just coaxing your body more awake, wriggling the toes, the fingers. And if you are laying back there, bending your knees, taking your feet to the floor. Just pause, feel the weight of your body. Rolling gently out to your right side. Just savouring these last few moments without having to rush off. Gently blinking the eyes open. And dragging yourself all the way back up to sit. And thank you so much for joining me on the mat. I hope you've enjoyed this class. Take care, stay safe. Namaste.